everyone. Hello, everyone. Let me get started. Welcome so much to this talk about the Common Core and technology. My name is Ron Kotlik. I'm the presenter today. I'll talk about who I am a little bit, what we're going to do here today. Before I begin, I like to always share what tools I'm using. Because we all have our iPads or our tools with us, and when we learn how to use them even more effectively. I'm using something called a presenter's hold, which is awesome. You can use this in your classrooms by LapWorks. You can have your iPad securely to your hand. Use your hand to sort of use, obviously, in the classroom. You can rotate it to any sort of position you want. And I looked all over the place for like the best product, and I finally found one. It's about $35 on Amazon. It's a nice little company out of California. We had a problem when I first ordered it. They designed it wrong for the new iPad. I talked to the actual owner over the phone. We called tech support. It's the owner of the company. Small little company. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And we had a nice little chat. So, supporting local businesses and so forth. So this is really kind of nice. So this is a really useful tool. So please, think about that. What else I'm using today is I just turned it on. Oh, I'm sorry, LapWorks. LAPWORKS, LapWorks. Yeah, and they have a lot of stuff, like stands and folders and a bunch of things. You can also see I have my laptop. I'm using a Windows laptop to do the presentation, but I have my laptop on my iPad screen. Okay, I don't know if you use these kind of products. This is by SplashTop. It's a remote, server into your laptop, or remote desktop. Super useful. In the classroom, you might even have a smart board. I have a smart board in my classroom, but I found I'm using this more than an actual smart board. I could walk around the room. It has some pretty cool annotation tools. Like if you open it up, like right now, I can start doing things like drawing on the screen right from my iPad. Super useful. I know I love a smart board. You could be up there, but my room I want to be with the kids, close to the kids as possible, rather than being so removed from them. So that's another really kind of neat tool. They have a lot of these kind of things. So just keep that in mind if you want to use that. Super, super useful. Okay? So, last thing I'm doing, one more thing. I'm actually recording this whole entire presentation. I'm using a screencasting software by TechSmith, awesome company. It's called Canisius. So I got a microphone right here, and my voice is being projected on that microphone. I'm recording everything I do on the screen right here. And what I do for you guys is I will put that video on this Google Doc. So if you copy down this URL, or and you want to scan the QR code, you'll have this Google Doc, and once this is all done, I'll put the video of this whole entire presentation on the Google Doc. So you can have, in case you want to hear me again. Maybe you won't. Maybe you want to just erase the video, the whole presentation. No. Anyway, so hopefully you want to listen to it again. So if you want to take notes seriously, you certainly can. Just want to relax and hang back and just relax a little bit and listen. That's fine too. But either way is useful, I guess. Okay, let's get started. So tech tools are Common Core. Now, Common Core all over us, right? Good things, bad things, a lot of challenges for us and for our students. But again, I think technology is always the key. Technology is the key if you want to motivate yourself, motivate your teachers, motivate your students, certainly. Again, maybe this might be some arduous task, but with technology, that might be that bridge to engage your students, engage your teachers in the Common Core. So I'm going to focus on tools that are for Common Core close reading, but a lot of these tools you can use beyond Common Core close reading in multiple facets of whatever curriculum you're involved in. So that would be nice. That would be useful. Show of hands, elementary teachers. Oh, wow, elementary teachers. Awesome. Middle school folks? Ooh, great. High school? All right, wonderful, great. Administrators? Awesome, fantastic. Anybody higher ed? No. Awesome, very good, very good. Okay, great. So this will hopefully be for a diverse audience, and you'll appreciate that. So what I got here for you is some of my information. I'm wearing two hats today. I'm a teacher at Clarence High School. I'm very much inspired by technology. I teach history there, mostly AP World, AP US, the Civil War, those types of courses. I'm also a professor at Canisius College. Been there for over 13 years. And I'm also in the Ed Tech program at Canisius College. So I do a lot of work for them. I teach a whole entire online graduate program that dedicates to teaching teachers how to use technology. So that's why I have both here, and that's why the little tiny URL says Canisius Ed Tech Common Core. I did this as a webinar a few months back, so I just sort of modified it for our presentations here. So you get the QR code back there. Wonderful. Go ahead. Too far away. Too far away? Yeah. I'll put it up at the end. So I'm wearing two hats here, so that's my information. You want to contact me, there are my two email addresses. Please feel free to do so. Okay? Now, what I want to start with are some of the tools that I think we've all used. Basic tools. I hope this isn't redundant. And if it is, we're going to move on through it quickly. But simple tools like Adobe products, Microsoft Word, Google Docs, something we might use all in our curriculum in different facets, can also be used for Common Core close reading text. Okay? So this seminar is not going to be about what is close reading. I think we've all been exposed to that. So how you look at a text from different angles, how do you, get the meaning out of the text, how we have to use text-specific phrases and so forth like that. But here, let's look at some tools that might help facilitate that and make that a lot easier. Now, the first one I want to talk about is Adobe. How many of you have used Adobe Reader or Adobe Acrobat? I'm sure we all have used that. We'll all raise our hands for that one. Okay. One of the greatest tools with Adobe is this annotation tools. Okay, of using those highlighting tools, using those commenting, those bubble tools, using those text markup tools to make the text come alive for students. Okay, this can either be as a teacher modeling it for their students, or for students coming to the smartboard, marking the text digitally if you have that sort of equipment in your particular classroom. So let me show you first an example that I have done with marking up text. Okay, so let me just kind of bring this up here. This is a PDF document I used with my AP US students about 1920s. And we marked this up together as a class, okay, using Adobe products. So here we kind of marked it up already. We talked about the beginning of the article. We color-coded different passages. This would be sort of like an introduction passage. We also color-coded in pink use of primary sources and so forth like that. So we kind of marked this all up. We talked about what some of the main ideas from the article. We had bubble comments about the footnotes that were being used, okay, as I kind of scroll through it. We talked about newspapers and secondary sources being used in the article, looking at how the author used those sources very specifically. This was a great visual, so the goal of this course was to have them read better, but a big part of this course was also writing better. So they had to write a major thesis paper at the end of the year. Now they can look at a historian's work and say, oh, how did that historian actually put that together? Oh, here's the used primary sources. Okay, cool, I got that. Here's the used secondary sources. Okay, that makes sense. And we also talked about like roadmaps, how a good author will set up the article for their reader. I know this is a little bit confusing, but just that one paragraph, that author talked about the major 4 or 5 things that he was going to address, and then we sort of drew arrows to where the author finally went back to those points, how they use key phrases to draw that audience back into the reading. So this might look really common all over the place, especially if you have an elementary school audience. But for my high school students, just seeing it visually, how the text was marked up, was such a useful thing to actually go through. Breaking up quotes, introducing primary sources, and things of that nature. So when you have this, now how many of you actually have Adobe Professional in your particular buildings? Okay, not as many. You can do a lot of this with the free Adobe Reader version as well. So I'll show you the professional version first. Like anything, Adobe's awesome, it's also expensive. All right, anything Adobe puts out is great stuff, but again, it is a little bit pricey. This is the professional version of Adobe, and as you kind of see, it has more of these annotation tools. At the top, you have things like highlighting. You have boxes and text boxes and arrows. You can change the color of the highlighting. You can do a lot of really neat things. But just going to the tool section, and we'll just do that later. Sorry. And you go to like sort of the comment section. There are all your annotation tools, which are really, that's what we used in class. Students came to the board with that pen, and they highlighted, they marked up the text, which is super easy. So I mean, again, I don't have to go through this right now with you guys, but you just, you highlight a text, you highlight it certainly, you can add bubble comments to it certainly, you can add arrows and markups and things like that, which you can certainly do kind of just on my iPad, which isn't as convenient. That's not working. That's okay. But you kind of get the point here. Okay, you can kind of mark it up. But I want to show you that also the free version of Adobe that most of us have always used does almost the same thing. It really does. It has the basic highlighting tool. So if you want to sort of take a text, you want to highlight it, that's wonderful. And you can sort of do that. And I believe if you do the properties, you can change the color of the highlighting. Also on yes you can on the free version. So you can sort of color code your text using that free version of Adobe. Always very useful. You can also make bubble comments, which is really nice, certainly, for key phrases. You add a little sticky note. You can add certain sort of comments there. But if you go to like sign the document, which you might not think would be useful for anything, if you're going to use like for officially for transcribing documents and so forth. But you go to like sign, add text. You actually can type on this document. It's not really meant for annotation, but the tool works the exact same way. So anywhere you sort of place your cursor, now you can start typing in the margins. something I never really think about with the Adobe free version, but again, it's a little workaround. So I can highlight text, I can put sticky comments, I can add text in the margins. Those are kind of our essential tools for annotation, and it's the free version, right? The expensive version is certainly a lot more, and it's a lot, more, I guess, colorful and engaging aesthetically. But for our basic needs, especially, for lower, students, this is perfect. So you can definitely use Adobe Acrobat as a great annotation tool. Okay, so that's the first thing I kind of wanted to show you here. All right, so let me kind of get back to the presentation. Now, questions about Adobe? We're going to go through a lot of tools. So if you want to save questions for the end, that's fine. Whatever you guys want to do. Another one is Google Docs, which I'm a big fan of Google Docs. How many of us use Google Docs with our students and so forth? Great. Love the collaboration aspects of it. And again, this might just be self-evident that you can mark up a Google Doc. But again, because of the great collaboration features, students can work on a document together, and they can mark it up, and they can annotate it, and they can do a group close read online. Whether that be outside of school or in a computer lab setting or in a small group setting. This will work with a Chromebook, certainly work with a PC or a Mac, and even with an iPad. With the iPad, it's a little bit touchy because the Google Drive app is a little quirky. I actually have my students open up Google Drive through Safari or through Chrome on the iPad. If you go to the bottom, you go to the desktop version of it. You have most of the full features, but some things on the actual Google Drive app itself, the native iOS app, that are, you can't do all of this. But it still works, okay? So if you kind of certainly have your text available, just some simple things, right? You're highlighting it. There is a highlighting tool on the Google Doc. You just click that little A, go to highlight, pick which color you want to highlight. Wonderful. You got that. If you want to talk about text that maybe wasn't all that important, or you want to talk about striking out text, highlight your text, go to format, and just go to a strike through. There's all certainly shortcut keys for this. Now you just strike through a text and you highlight it, which is really kind of neat. You can also do bubble comments. Just click the comment button. Excuse me, where'd it go? I have too many tools here. There it is. I went to click and more. Click the little tool right there. Now you can add comments anywhere you want on the text, and you can put your comments in the margins there. And if students are all logged in with their Google accounts, it will show you which student made which particular comment. It's great for you to keep track of students making comments on a text, for students working collaboratively to mark up a text, which is super, super useful. Okay, so again, just basic stuff that maybe we just overlooked. I always feel sort of uneasy about this part of the presentations. I don't want to, oh yeah, I've done this. But everybody always comes back, oh, I never thought of using a Google Doc for marking a text. I never thought of using that for Adobe. So I'm still going to go through this because so far people have said this has been pretty useful. So that's pretty simple. You can mark up a text, sort of make your comment about particular passages in the text, and then save the document. Now, always with Google Docs is kind of weird. Make sure if you want to keep a clean copy of Gettysburg, I would do one thing with this. When you go to your sharing settings, right now it's like anyone with the link can view it. Great simple tip is make your document public, save it. So when students then log on to that link, they can only edit a version of that Google Doc by making a copy of it themselves. If you share out your copy and they start marking it up, well, guess what? Your copy now is marked up. Okay, that's the one thing you got to be careful with Google Docs. Oh, great. You can go back to your revision history. I don't know if you've ever seen that in Google Docs. You can get your clean version back, but it's a little bit time consuming. But if you go to sharing, make it public, and post that link on your website, when students log on to that, they have to sign into their Google accounts, and they have to make a copy before they can do anything with it. That's a real simple workaround that you make sure that your copies are yours to keep and so forth. Okay? Questions about that? Great. Awesome. Please, if you have any questions, please let me know. So let me get out of here. Okay, wonderful. So we talked about Google Docs, talked about Adobe Acrobat. Our old friend, our old standby, Microsoft Word, which honestly, I've gone on a much reduced Microsoft diet. Next year, I hope to be like vegan, like Microsoft free. Really, it's just because, I mean, I know we're still using it. It's still an important tool. But again, I love Google Docs. I'd rather just get away from that. But here's a Microsoft Word. And so if we're still using Word, kind of the obvious things again, you're looking at key passages, you're highlighting them, you're changing the color of the text, you're underlining them, things that we've always done with Microsoft Word. But another great function, and I don't know how many of you use it from a student-teacher standpoint, is the review function. And you can add a comment to anything that you highlight. Click New Comment. Now that text, you can add your comments to it. Simple way of annotating a text. In the margins, you put your comments there, or some of the key parts about that passage, or a key word. So that review function is sometimes overlooked, right? But you can then, these comments are always saved there. Okay, does that make sense? So that's an easy thing to actually do. Okay, so that would be useful. All right. So questions about that? Wonderful. Okay, moving on, I guess. I'm gonna lock my screen rotation so I keep on having to do this. Okay, here we go. So let's go back to the Google Doc here, and I have way too many tabs open as usual. My students always make fun of me. Every day I have like 30 tabs open. So let's kind of move down here. So we did Adobe products, we got our Microsoft Word, and we got our Google Docs. Right here, if you click on these links on this Google Doc and you have it, those are videos that I have. They're on YouTube. They go through all of this in even more detail. Okay, so you can use that as a reference. There'll always be a link to it. There are YouTube videos of me going through this very slowly. We have a lot to cover in an hour or so, so I'm kind of going quickly here. If you want to go back to those videos, please do. Okay. Now, kind of moving on. Pull everywhere. I love pull everywhere. How many of you use this, or let me ask the question first. How many of you use like student response systems in class through like cell phones or iPads, something like that? Okay. How many of you ever used pull everywhere? Okay, wonderful, great. A few of you. I've been using this product now for about 4 or 5 years, and this is awesome. It's a free service, and everything's a paid service too. It gives you a little more options. But with this particular service, you can set up in-class polls where students can text responses either through a dumb phone, love that expression, or they can use a smartphone, or they can use a Chromebook or a PC or any sort of anything that's web-based. They can respond to a poll in class. So if you're talking about a particular passage, I use this a lot. One of the best things with this is that you're talking about an historian's argument or an author's argument or an author's point of view, something like that. Students can text quick little messages, little blurbs that now are on the screen. And that they come in real time. So as they're putting these on the screen, you're talking about everybody's idea, what the main idea was, what the key passage was, what a key phrase was, and all of a sudden, whoa, this is really cool. They absolutely love this. There's so many advantages to this. We all have that student in the back that doesn't want to raise their hand, kind of the isolated student. It's always our challenge to get that student to break out of that shell and be part of the class discussion. Well, all of a sudden now they are, because they're sort of, can do this anonymously, I guess, or no one really sees their name, but all of a sudden now they've contributed, and oftentimes once they've contributed, this is great discussion starters, and that student now will feel a little more, confident to sort of voice their opinion as well in class verbally, which is great. So I'll show you some examples of this. Here's a poll. I'll show you how to create them really, really quick. This is a poll from a document. Which quote from the document did you choose? This was Persia. I'm teaching AP World the past 2 years, and for me I never thought in my life I would teach AP World. I was trained as an American historian. I always was very American-centric in my beliefs, so history is American history. Who cares about the world? All right, but I was kind of switching to be in AP World, so I never thought I would. So I'm teaching about the Persians. Yikes, Persians. Happened to like Jefferson and Lincoln. But that's okay. I can handle the Persians. So we're going through these like pretty complex primary sources, and what quote sort of stood out from you? And this is a poll that I put up, and students sort of texted their responses to this. Let me kind of bring up the full screen version here. Here we go. See how big that is? And as this comes in, it's in real time. So as they text their responses in, boom, there appears. Boom, there appears. Boom, there appears. And there was drinking in it. So high school students, oh, cool. Persians drink. All right, anyway. All right, so they got text that in, right? But anyway, so as you kind of go through all this, and then if you think one's a particular really good passage, you just click on it, it becomes big. So you can sort of centralize that particular passage. Oh, bam, okay, what do you got there? Let's talk about this. Why did you choose this passage? What words are being used? So again, close reading. Like, okay, we're going to read the text, but here's one way to, that kind of gets student involved in that text. The text blows up for them. They contribute to this. That's really awesome, and it works so well for them. You can actually do word clouds right on this. We've done that, and I don't know if I had an example for you right now to actually show you that, but it will do a word cloud for you automatically. So if they text in a one word, as the one word, do I have an example of it? I must. Let me go to my polls here. Yes, Miss, I'm sorry.
Is there a way to, like on your device, like X out what is that?
Yes, you can moderate your responses first. The free version, you have no idea who texted what. It's a big leap of faith. It's big, like, okay. I use with high school students and have had virtually no problem. I say virtually because last week, for the first time in like 4 years, no one be as right, and they put something not really inappropriate, but inappropriate enough. And they saw my demeanor change. And they never see me unhappy. I'm usually pretty happy in a positive room. Man, I got mad fast. And they're like, oh my gosh, you get mad. All right, and then it hasn't happened yet. Again. But that was like the first time in like 4 years. For like $50, you can subscribe to the service, and when the students register their cell phones, you'll have a record of every single student what they posted.
Okay.
Which is really kind of nice for assessment. Because you put multiple choice things on here and other assessments, they can actually become a good form of assessment. But right now it's just kind of, I haven't bought it. Okay, so I did 1 year, I said, I don't know if I really need it. So I didn't buy it again. Okay?
Can you moderate so that if there is an appropriate?
Yeah, you can kind of like, you'll see it first and go, okay, good.
With the free or
Yeah, with the free. I gotta double check. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, don't quote me. But I'm almost sure about that. All right. Do I have, where's that? Oh, I'm so sorry. I gotta find something to show you a word cloud, which is really cool. Do I have it? I should have it. I forgot about the word cloud feature. Give me a second. Okay. We were doing this cool thing in psychology the other day about free association. Ever done free association in a class? It's an old psychological Freudian technique where Freudians would sort of yell out words. They would ask their clients to think about the first thing that came to their mind when they yell out a word. And that was the way that Freud used in the early 19th century, late and early 20th, to kind of get into what people's subconscious thoughts were. So we did this like in class, and I think I did it as a word cloud. So if I go to this poll, red, students had texting one word to it. Is this the one I'm looking for? Red. And what's the first thing that comes to mind when you hear the word red or see the word red? I think this is the one, blood and that kind of stuff. Or come on. Is it? Please. I hope I didn't. Did I clear it? Oh, I cleared it. I'm so sorry. But as it comes up, a word cloud forms around it, and as the response becomes similar, like every student saying anger gets bigger. All right. So as the frequency of the word that's being used is submitted, which is really cool for close reading of text. You look at what is the key word in the sentence. Everybody's saying this particular word. That word gets bigger. Okay. So it's really super useful. All right. I'm sorry I don't have one to actually show you, but that's really kind of nice. This particular poll, let me go bring in this one. This was an argument. What's the historian's thesis? Okay, kind of the same idea. You just make it bigger, and that came up as an article from the Civil War. Boom, boom, boom. They get the thesis out there. We're talking about that in class. So super useful. Okay, to make a poll, watch this. Take it like 2 seconds. And it's really super easy. So you click create a poll. You have your choice of either multiple choice polls or a open-ended question poll. And let's do. I press create if I did. Let's do it again. Okay. You just put in any sort of question that you want. I don't know why I can hear it. Come on, let's go. I'm clicking too quickly. So I click on a particular question I want. I don't know, what is, what? Give me something. Key word and sentence? I don't know. I'm thinking, hey, what do you guys want?
You mean a favorite app?
Oh, yeah, you can do that, right? Yeah, what is, your favorite app? We'll keep it to like text today. Okay, cool. Not a sap. I'm not a sapper. Okay, here we go. All right, open-ended, I press create. Creates the poll in 2 seconds, and now the options are basically if a student has a texting phone, your number is always the same. You're always the same to contact. Oh, all right, here we go. So mine's always the same, 37607. In the text box, they put 845049. Then their app. You can do this right now if you wanted to. It's live. It works. All right. Or if I push this poll out, which is really cool, I always push polls out. You go to a website and you can make up your own URL. You can just type in on your iPad and press submit, and boom, real time. Someone's doing it right now. It'd be awesome, cool, and they will come up for you. And it's kind of neat. And if I do my responses, there's the moderator function. So you were asking that question in the back. Okay? How people can respond, which is kind of neat. All right, and if I do that, no one's responded yet? Anybody? Try it. Maybe it's the Wi-Fi. Maybe we're all too much on the same guest network. I don't know. No one. Did it go through? Maybe it was slow today. Here it goes. Box. Yes. Okay, cool. Great cloud service. Awesome. So it's as simple as that. Boom. Comes up immediately, or almost immediately. No one else. I don't know. Oh, notability. Love that app. Yep. Very nice for taking notes and things like that. Great. You got the idea. And you can sort of play around with the settings here, how you want the appearance to be. I don't want to get too much into pull everywhere. But it's super useful. You can embed them into a PowerPoint or Keynote slides, which is really nice, right into your PowerPoint slide. You got that. And it's perfect. You can really have a lot of fun with it. I use this function a lot. If you try private link, I click on that. It gives you this link where if you put that URL into your website, that'll come for a student. So students can do this at home, and you can have a nice, easy online survey. Super useful. And they can do that anytime you want. So pretty neat. So any questions about Pull Everywhere? Yeah.
Did you say how did you get to this?
So that one I hit private link on this, and then that comes up, and that link is always dedicated link, and there's your little poll. Really useful. So questions about that? At all?
Just a comment on the kind of leads you. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
It leads your class for the day.
It does. It really does.
It's a whole new spin on because close reads, the kids are getting a
little tired of it, right? This time of year, it goes home again. Okay. So now this sort of freshens it up, and we'll little different take on it. Wow, this is really exciting again, right? Yeah. Awesome. Yes, Miss.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to do any of this. Could you back up?
That's okay.
Can you go back to the text? I'm lost.
Where's it going to go back to? Yeah, no problem. How to make a poll or?
No, I saw how to respond.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I put it into this little link. It should go back to it. I hope. Does it go? Just so slow today. I don't know why. Here it is. That's the same one. So in the message box, if you're using a texting phone, just do 3. It should be in the to box 37607. And then the message box, you put in those 6 digits, a space, and just type your response, and it's good to go. Or you can use, if you have a smartphone, I think it's a little easier to use the URL version. Just go to your browser on your smartphone or your tablet, type in pollev.com/Dr. Kotlik, and you're good. And then you can just type your response in and press submit. You're all set.
Can you go, I don't want you to go back, I'm just asking. Could you go back, and I know you had picked up, you had chosen the responses, but you put it on word cloud?
Yeah, I'm trying to, yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, I want to see if I could do that, because people are asking me that. No, excuse, I wasn't, how do I do that again? Shoot. Is it information? Nope. Is it used to be right on the full screen. No. Hold on, give me a second. I'll figure that out again. Make sure my results. Back to my live poll. How did I do that last time? Okay, let me go back. And unless they took it down, I'd be so mad. They always change things. Did you see it as a choice too?
It was there as a choice when you created the poll.
Yeah, it was. Let me go to a different poll. Here's that other one I did. And if I go to up here, and I go to responses, I thought you could toggle through, no, was it that one, or was it, no, or was it down here? There it is, yeah, okay, cool. Wonderful. Let me get back to my other poll then. Oh no, we were doing it right here. Thank you. Is that my poll? Where's favorite app? Where my responses? Let me go back to settings here, and oh, there it is. And word cloud. It's not doing the word cloud. You know why it's not doing word cloud? How silly. No one's had the same thing yet. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, it did. Of course it's not working. Yeah, come on. Why aren't you working? Show text wall. I'm sorry, but I know we're really excited about the word cloud, so I don't have it ready for you. And word cloud. Let's try that. Okay. Oh, doesn't want to help me here. I'm sorry. Do you mind if I move on? I apologize. We'll figure it out. And that won't close. It's being all funky on me today. But there you go. You can do clusters, or you could do text wall, or you could do your word cloud. But for some reason, it's freezing on me now. I pressed too many things too quickly. Yeah. Oh, always a bad thing to see. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to move on. So questions about that? Are we all set? Full everywhere? Beautiful. Okay. How about Quizlet? Who's used Quizlet? Okay. Not everybody. Awesome. Okay. I love Quizlet. Big part of Common Core, close reading, everything in Common Core is vocabulary. Huge, awesome tool. If you haven't used Quizlet yet, you definitely got to check it out. It's also free. And there's also paid versions. Like anything else. But the free version for teachers, is super useful. For a free version, you can set up any class you want, particular classes. You can set up folders for any sort of subject you're particularly teaching. And you can create vocabulary decks of words. It's super, super easy for teachers to create the vocabulary they want to create. Awesome. I've got tons of vocabulary here from AP World, from UF, from psychology classes. I use it in all my classes. And it's so awesome. Let me just open up one for you. I'll open up something in world history. Open up a deck of cards. Now, students can also create their own decks too, or you can create them for them. For AP World, I've created for them because I really want a particular vocab. I've created all these particular definitions. But what's really awesome is that you can copy and paste definitions in. You can type definitions in. It also has an auto-define feature, which is super, super useful. This is like a social experience now. Everything's social networking. Once you create a vocabulary deck, it's part of Quizlet's sort of bank of words and definitions. It saves in there. So as everybody's creating decks around the world, this database is growing and growing and growing. So most likely, something's already been created for you, for your particular subject matter. And all of a sudden now, you can then just do the auto-define feature, and you will define the terms for you. So if I edit this particular set, which I can do, click on Edit, and they bring it up. And now this is how it works. When you create a set, you just put your terms in on the left. But say I wanted to add to that term. See that little thing on the bottom pops up, auto-define, Acamid, and you just click on that, and now it gives you the definitions in the bank and people who have created vocab terms around that. Now you gotta be careful. Some of them are teacher created, some of them are student created. You can definitely tell the student created ones, like the vocabulary and the grammatical problems all over the place. So just be careful. But you can edit that, or you can just type in your own terms, which is really super useful. You can upload images that are tied to particular cards. So for elementary, that's awesome. You want to upload images tied to vocabulary cards or to key sight words, things like that. I want to just teach us first grade, so I know what sight words. All right, what sight words, what that is. All right, so sight words, right? Perfect. Boom, image, shoom, sight word, awesome. Okay, you have all that great stuff. Okay, which is really super, super, super useful. So really super easy to actually use. Now, once you're done editing and creating your particular set, man, students love this because there's a Quizlet app for their phone, Android, iOS. There's also another app called Flashcards Plus, which uses all the Quizlet decks. You can use both apps, Flashcards Plus or the native Quizlet app. You can create learn games. There's a whole learning game where the kids can play this. All right, and if you create your classes and students actually do this when they log in, you'll know students' progress. So this could be a great formative assessment for home, that blended learning environment, bringing the instruction outside the classroom through online tools. As they answer these questions, they can keep track of their own scores. Great. There's a speller game, which is really cool. Great for elementary, for spelling particular words, obviously. The sound's not on, but it will actually even speak it for them. There's a new teacher version now that's coming out. You can pay for it, $25 a year. You can record your voice on the vocabulary, which is kind of cool because rather than hearing that computerized voice, which is so impersonal, now it's your voice. Okay, I know Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, and now it draws them into this. Kind of cool. I never thought about it, the teacher version, but that's kind of neat. And I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if it's worth $25, but I'm intrigued. You can create tests. Students can create their own tests, or you can create tests right off of Quizlet. For psychology, I create my tests right on Quizlet for an in-class test. You just print it out, and it's right from Quizlet. I've also copied and pasted. I don't want to get into Socrative. Have you ever used Socrative before? I've copied and pasted the test from Quizlet into Socrative, which is like an online quizzing game in your classroom. My juniors and sophomores love the space race. I had kids screaming in the classroom trying to win the space race game based off vocabulary. It's hilarious. I mean, their older kids are like, I want to win. They're like so into it. And it's right from, they're studying the quiz vocabulary at home or on their phone. I just put that quiz vocabulary onto Socrative. I don't want to get into Socrative right now, but just look it up if you haven't used it. Awesome free app for doing quiz games in class using any kind of device. So really super useful. So just think about using Quizlet for Common Core close reading. Questions about Quizlet? Yes, miss.
The images, where are you getting the images from?
They could do a Google search or images that you have saved, anything that you want to do. We'll upload it for you.
Oh, really? Now, is this going to be saved publicly?
If you want to, you can make your sets public, or you can make your sets only those with a link can view it. You have some options of where you want your sets to actually go. But the words themselves is one kind of like the bank, but if you want to kind of have your students to search your name and find your sets out there, great. Or if you create classes where they actually register for Quizlet, which is free, then you can just push your sets to them like that. Only they see them. So you can keep it, you want everything out there, public on the web. You can definitely do that, which is a great option. You can also embed these vocab cards onto your website. I can show you that really quickly. Here's my website from Clarence. And, yikes. Come on. We'll be patient. Okay, here we go. Let me just go to, hey, that's up for cancel. Let me just go to AP World real quick. And you can see how I've done this. I go to AP World, and I go to vocabulary. Come on. Man, this is slow, sorry. There we go. And I go to vocabulary. These are all embedded from Quizlet right on my website, which is kind of cool. I don't want to get into how you do that with your particular website tool that you use, but you'll see it when it eventually pops up. But these are all the Quizlet vocab sets right on my website embedded. So they don't have to even go to Quizlet. They can go right to your own personal website, and you can put them there, and they can get all the games, same thing, and they can go through them all right from your website. So either you want them to go to Quizlet, or you can keep track of how they're doing if they log in, or if you're not concerned about that, just put those on your website, and they have it there as a tool. And they can also create their own cards, and they can share cards as a group. You can set up groups in Quizlet. They can do collaborative learning online, and all work on sets together. Whatever you like. There's a lot of flexibility there. Okay? Awesome. Great. Let's move on. Perfect. And keep on going back here. So we did Quizlet. I'll do Noodle Tools briefly. It's more for middle and high school students, but you can definitely use it for elementary. How many of you have used Noodle Tools? Okay, a few of you, yes, wonderful. Noodle Tools was initially created to help students create properly formatted bibliography. APA, MLA, Chicago, they fill in the fields, they can create a reference list, and it's formatted correctly as long as they have the right information put in the fields correctly. About 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago, what it was now, they've expanded that service where they wanted it as more of a research tool, where students can create their own note cards online, doing research notes online, which are then tied to reference lists of sources. They can do an outline. You can do a whole entire research paper through using Noodle Tools. Now, what's it got to do with Common Core close reading? Well, I think what a cool thing about Noodle Tools from a research standpoint is when you use the note card function and students actually make their note cards online, it forces them to differentiate between what a paraphrase is, what a direct quote is, and what your idea is. Right? How many times is it hard to teach students? even when I remember, doing my own research in graduate school, right, on yellow legal pads, and you're fiercely writing notes, you get back to your notes like, oh shoot, is that a direct quote, or was that my idea? Have you had that experience you even yourself have forgotten? And you don't want to plagiarize inadvertently, but that happens. It's really, really, really common. So what's really kind of neat about this, and I'll just quickly, I'm not getting all ins and outs of Noodle tools. I have a lot of videos on that goes through it in depth. But I actually I've always assigned this to my students. And I never used it myself as thoroughly as I wanted to. Yes.
And is this for free?
Here's how this works. If your school buys into it, you can do a huge volume. First, I don't know what that is. As a teacher, I remember for a teacher, I had to buy it once for my own classes. It was like $50 a year. But what it gives you is that students can then drop projects into your Dropbox, and you can comment and correct it right online. But if your school buys into it as a volume, I don't know what it is. I know it's fairly reasonable. That's what I've heard from our school's librarian media specialist. It's not terribly expensive. I've encouraged my seniors, as they graduate, to buy an individual account. $15 a year for an individual account. Now, it's cool for a student. They can't share anything with you. But if there are students who want to have this particular great tool, they can have it for $15 a year, which is, for a college student, if your particular university doesn't have this, which is awesome. Canisius has this now. UB has something similar to this. It's not called Noodle Tools. There's a lot of different ones, but they're really, really, really useful. This also works on an iPad completely. It's web-based, but the iPad version works seamlessly with this. It's really, really nice. Which is really kind of good. But anyway, what I was kind of getting at is I wrote a chapter for a book last year that got published. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do my whole research for this book on Noodle Tools. I'm going to force myself to actually use it as my students. I've always been telling my students to use it, but I never did anything on it. So I did. And it was great. It was so useful. And I'm like, wow, I'm glad it worked. Is the way I've been preaching it. It actually worked. So this is like some of my bibliography stuff that I created. I mean, just go to like the note cards. Go to like note cards. It's really kind of neat. Like you create basically a virtual tabletop. I think the idea behind this was the old-fashioned 3x5 index card here, right? Take your research notes. Remember doing that? And you put them on your table. You put them into files and try to organize them. But you can do that all now virtually. And you can move these cards around. I'm not getting all of it right now, but you can like move them around. You can put tags on them, and you have these whole piles of cards. But what I want to show you is what a note card looks like as you're producing it. So go to my bibliography. I don't know, whatever. Magazine articles, websites, journal articles, whatever the case may be. And I'll open up this particular one. There's 3 note cards to it. And this is what a note card looks like as you create it, paraphrasing and things like that. But let's just create a brand new note card. Let me go to my note card section. I want you to see this. This is the most important part about it. I'm going to create a brand new note card. That loads up again. Okay. Now, when the student has all their sources in Noodle Tools, see on the right side here, sources? Click on that. It already lists all the sources in the reference list. So they can choose which note they want to tie to which source. Yes, miss?
Is this something that you're using with your librarians?
Yes.
With your, with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. She's the one who sort of set this all up. And some of us use it extensively, some of us don't. But yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful tool.
Is this starting out in freshman year?
Freshman year, yes. I think even in the middle school, they're pushing it down.
Yeah, we have it.
Yeah, I thought you guys used it.
12.
Yeah, it's the whole, because there's like a different levels of complexity. There's like an APA starter, and there's like a intermediate and advanced versions. And they're using this exact same tool. My graduate students at Canisius use this tool. So they're using it in elementary. It's the exact same product we're going to use it in college and even in a grad school. Really, really neat. You think about that. So what I was wanting to get at is see how they have these different boxes. I'll just pick a source. I'm going to link it to. But you create a title for your note card, direct quotation, paraphrasing, right? And as you kind of move down to it, even you have further down here, if I can, even have then my ideas. So it really forces them to separate that text into what it is. So I use this mostly for research projects, but I think it definitely has possibilities for using it for close reading of text as well. Okay? So questions about that? Awesome. Great. Let's keep on moving. Beautiful. All right. Let's keep moving on here. Back to Google Docs. So there's an example of a note card. You can highlight text, make it different colors, and make it as colorful as you want. QR codes. Someone always does a QR code presentation. Every single workshop you go to. They're awesome. I think there's one today. Someone's doing QR codes today. How many of you have used QR codes? Okay, awesome, great. Those are those funny looking little things. I have at the top of my Google Doc right there, the nice little images where you can create them for free. You can scan them, and it will take you to either a website, a video. You can even put in text. I'll show you the website first. One I use a lot is called qrstuff.com. It's free. We love free. You can pay into it. It's more for marketing. Like, it will tell you who's scanning your codes, and if you're like a marketer for a product, that's really important. But for our standpoint, education, I don't really think that's all that necessary. But basically, you put it in any website you want. Twitter, look at all the options you can do as data. Even plain text is really cool, and I've used this in class. Have you ever done like scavenger hunts, right, in class? I've done this where I printed out cards with a vocab term on it, then I printed out QR codes. I've hid them around the room. And students that have to go around the room, scan the QR code, which then gives them the definition. Boom, I got it. And then they got to find the corresponding definition term card someplace. It's hilarious watching juniors do that. All right, it is fun. They're all over the place trying to find QR codes. Again, not the much is different between an elementary student and a junior and high school. You get down to really, they react the same way in a lot of situations. So that was a quick little game, and that was really, really, really fun. Just remember, sure you make a code for yourself what the QR code stands for. I didn't do it the very first time. I'm like, oh man, so I had to go back and scan all myself. I'm like, oh, I probably should have some little code in the back, and then I finally figured it out. Yeah, that's a good idea. So do that. But for this, what I've done for Common Core closed reading is this is a great way to give students a check for understanding. Remember I showed you in the beginning that article that was all marked up with the highlighting? Well, what I've done is that if I've done one like that for them, what I would give them is a blank copy of a text piece with a QR code on it. They mark it up. And when they're done, they can scan it and then get the article the way I marked it up. And it's a great way to compare and contrast what they're looking at. So it's a great way to kind of give them the key, or whatever you want to call it, right, as another example of a close read. So you can create centers in elementary. I imagine that'd be awesome. Creating centers where you can walk around, the kids scan the code, they see what you want them to see. Maybe they work on the text first, and then boom, that comes up. Really kind of a neat use for it. But QR codes can be used in tons of situations. You can even make T-shirts with QR codes, which is pretty cool. We did one for Extra Society a couple years ago. Kids were scanning people's shirts around school. Kind of fun. Then someone gets mad, pull your cell phone! We used to have a no cell phone policy, so it was kind of weird. But anyway, that's gone away kind of, I think. All right, so questions about that? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, great, wonderful. That was a little simple one. All right, moving on. Now, some different things here. Here's all videos you can watch. Pull Everywhere, Quizlet, Noodle Tools, and QR codes. Go into much more depth. Now, Digo, yeah, let's come back to Digo a little bit. Word walls, have you used these sites before? Maybe I can skip this then. I mean, I want to make sure I get everything in. I think we got more than 20 minutes or so. But again, if you haven't used word walls, yes?
What's tag crop?
This is just a different one. Yeah, there's a bunch of them that make these big word walls. Like Wordles, I think, is the most popular one. Everybody's using Wordle. TagCrowd is just another one. And, it just looks a little bit different interface where you can import words or have students, it's the same kind of interface. What I like, though, which one I really do like, though? I like the other one. I think I have it up here. I'm losing my tabs. I have way too many tabs up. I think it's this one. Please with that one. Okay, you can create shapes. Have you used this one with the whole shape thing? The shape thing is really cool. Like, you can create a shape that you want the word wall to go into, which is really kind of neat. And you can kind of adjust all this. I lost my mouse here. So that's like the Mother Earth kind of thing. And they have these whole shapes here that you can kind of play around with. Like, come on. Why aren't you working? Are we just slow, or it's not hitting right? There it is. Okay, cool. Like, isn't that neat? Like, they have all these different shapes. Like, even music teachers, you got the bass. Like, that one. Like, and that's pretty cool for, like, holidays and stuff like that. And I love the whole Lincoln head. I absolutely love. It can do, like, Lincoln's head. And I can put, like, stuff in there. Why not? So anyway, but you got the idea. So just kind of fun things you can do with the word cloud to make it more visually appealing. Yeah.
I was going to say something about tags. You have to have silver
Yeah.
And so sometimes the first time you go to, if you're going to use it with a group of kids, make sure you have Silverlight or else you're going to be
Doesn't work.
pulling the back pocket less than
Yep. Which we all have. Ready to go at almost noted. And also Chromebooks, kind of funky too, doesn't work as well. I'm doing a Chromebook presentation later this afternoon. And there's some things that don't work on a Chromebook yet, but they're always trying to find workarounds. So that will improve as time moves on. But there's kind of some neat things with the word clouds. Okay, awesome. All right, let's kind of get back to Padlet. Everybody use Padlet? Because some people are awesome. And let's just actually like no one's like, what's Padlet? This is really kind of cool, where you can create a word wall, kind of like it's like a social media kind of like a Facebook idea, I guess. I should stop using this. Here we go. Here's Padlet. I'm using this Gettysburg address name. Like you can create a wall with anything you want image on the wall, and then you can paste text. You can post text to the wall and make it really visually appealing, and it looks better. Really, it does. I promise. Is it my fault too many tabs, or am I pushing the envelope of tabs here? You know, flying too close to the sun, my wax wings are going to melt. Come on. Come on. Are we working? Oh, this is not good. Okay, there we go. All right. So I found an image of Lincoln. I make a visual wall of Lincoln for images. When it first started, it was a blank wall. Now students can now post anything they want to the wall that relates to the Gettysburg Address. And you can moderate it again. You can moderate what you want, post it on the wall, and you can accept it before it becomes visually in public. All they have to do is anywhere on the wall, say you included this as like the main text. Now they can add what they want. You want to ask them to talk about key language, key words, key phrases, author's point of view. Double click anywhere on the wall. They put their name and they write something. They can attach a link. They could upload a file, even their homework. Or they could take a screenshot of themselves, a selfie, I guess. But I don't know why I haven't used the whole selfie thing. But there you go. It appears on the wall. And then you can moderate it, make sure it's okay. And then now the whole class sees that. And that could build. Again, so you're taking text, and then you can put key text on the wall and build it and build it and build it. Super useful for close reading of text. Again, is it very different from what you're doing? Nope, not at all, but just a little bit of a text spin on it that freshens it up a little bit, and all of a sudden now kids might become more engaged after doing text for a while. And how does this actually work? Settings, you can modify the actual wall, you can change the pictures, they have stock images or upload anything you want, which is really kind of neat. Privacy settings, right? You can make the link on your website, only those with the link can actually comment on it, so it's safe, or you can make it password protected, which is super useful. You have to know the password right on the wall. You don't want it out there. Or totally public. Then you can do a whole moderation thing, like you can moderate it, moderate posts, which I've done. And then when you share it, you can do a whole layout of how you want to move images around and that kind of stuff. And then when you want to actually get the wallpaper, you got links. But then when you want to actually share it, really cool. Like you can share it as an image or as a PDF. They can save it as a sort of static PDF. Or you can embed it right on your website. Okay, which is really kind of neat. And if I go back to my website, let me get rid of that tab. I don't need it anymore. Okay, go back to my website. Okay, now if I move over here. Come on. Where did I thought I had it already set up for you. We're just getting slow. I go to Civil War, and I go to Gettysburg activity. And, okay, Gettysburg address. And look at, there's the word wall embedded on my website. Okay, so there it is, bam, right there. They can even do it right on the website. Still works. They have to even go to Padlet. They can embed it right on the actual website. So really useful as a cool kind of thing to actually go through for a common close reading of text. Okay? Question about Padlet?
Is it free?
It's free. Yeah, free, which is lovely. We like free. All right? We hate asking administrators for money. Sorry, for administrator out there. We know you have none. So that makes it difficult. So anyway, so moving on. Wonderful. So let's kind of get out of Padlet for a little bit. And there's some videos on Padlet. I'll go back to Digital in a second. So I'll make sure I get some of these in. I want to show you Lucidchart. Graphic organizers are stable and right any grade level, any subject matter. How many of you ever used Lucidchart? Oh, great. Love that when it happens. Perfect. Okay? Lucidchart makes awesome online mind maps for graphic organizers. It's free. It's actually paid, but they give teachers a free account with full usability. All you gotta do is have the right credentials. They ask you how many people you want in your account. Like I asked for 100 students, and I said, cool. This year I said, can I have 50 more accounts? They said, no problem, all free if you're an educator. Totally, totally cool. They're tied in with Google, so you can actually link it to your Google Drive. Just upload to Google Drive, export to Google Drive. You can even log in your Google credentials. Perfect. They have a new product called Lucid Press. Remember Microsoft Publisher? I don't know if people still use that or not. It's like the free version of it, and it's really cool. And it works super well. It's called Lucid Press. It's their next generation of products coming out. Really, really, really neat. So I go like Lucidchart, and let me bring up that. And here's Lucidchart. Should be all logged in, ready to go. And again, you can take apart our text and do it. Now you can organize folders, which I have for all my different classes. And students can then, they have all that in there, and they can share documents with you. Very super easy. And I'll show you even a better workaround that I started using with it. But you can create templates that students can work on the template all at the same time. That was a little bit problematic when we did it this year. It was great for students making their own individual mind maps or things like that, graphic organizers. But if you wanted students to work as a team on the same one, which is supposed to work, but it was not nearly as fluid as Google Docs. It was problematic. Student moved something, there was a lag, another student copied over it, and all of a sudden there was all these problems. It was getting all weird. We were all getting frustrated with it. I was getting frustrated, they were getting frustrated. So I went back to doing Google Docs or anything that's collaborative and online. This works so well. But if you want students to make their own individual pieces, this was great. There's also a really good free iOS app. The iPad app works awesome. All you do with your finger is drag lines, and all of a sudden you're making mind maps with your finger in like 2 seconds. Super, super easy. So let me show you some student mind maps. We kind of get out of here a little bit. Let me go back to psychology or the case may be. And I don't know, we'll pick one. Whatever. Get one that's really colorful for you. Open that up. And this is the student created mind map based on a psychology assignment. Okay? Come on up. Okay, great. They made all that. That kind of thing, and they didn't make me a commenter on it, but you can leave comments on it, and they can see your comments later, which was really super useful. Very, 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 very nice. I want to show you one that I can actually edit so you can see how this actually works. Let me show you one that I actually made. Civil War final project. Is this a good one? Yeah, this is really cool. My Civil War students had to make a digital story. And I actually made one to show them the different tools they can use, technology tools to make a movie. So we were using different things that they can make. They can do all this to make a movie. So I made this one for them. But see how it's very much like, great. You got all your little you got all your little shapes over here. Just drag your shapes over. You drag lines very easily. All right. And then what you do is when you share it, and this is kind of cool. You have a lot of options to share it. Once students have joined your class, their names will be in the list. So you can actually put their names down, and there's my classes already set up. You can share with the whole class. You can share with individual students. There's all my students' names. You won't look at them for privacy's sake. All right, but there you go. They can all be shared together as a group on Lucidchart. You can decide who wants to actually see these. Or you can publish it other ways. You can publish it as a web page. It gives you a link which takes you to the actual Lucidchart. That's super easy. Because you can put that link right on your website, something like that. It'll publish it as a PDF image or as like a JPEG image, or you can embed it right into your website. There's the embed code. Super a lot of options there for taking that mind map and share with others and put it on your website and so forth. Now, I don't want to get too much into this today, but I got tired of grading my Lucidcharts on Lucidchart. the workflow for me was too many clicks. I don't want to click a lot. I want little clicks and get in and get out of an assignment. How many of you use Edmodo? Okay, if you're using Edmodo as a way to get student work online, super, super easy. I made Edmodo groups where the assignment was a Lucidchart assignment. They took that web link, and now what they do is I just click web page, hit the little link, they take that link and they turn it into Edmodo. Super easy, where now I just go to Edmodo, they're all alphabetized, boom, I got the mind map, I can grade it, give comments right out at Edmodo. Because the problem was, for them to give comments, they had to turn comments on. You know, how many times I told students, please make me a commenter, and like half of them never did. And then I can't grade it, and I gotta go back and say, can you make me a commenter? And then I go back, and then it's like, it's getting too many steps. So with the link, I just see it. I don't put the comments on Lucidchart. I put the comments on Edmodo. I actually made a Google form. I don't want to show you right now. I made a Google form where I just click the rubric on the Google form and share the link to them on Edmodo of their rubric. Super fast. Boom, 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 form. Got it. Done. Does that make sense as a workflow for you? So that was super, super, super useful. So questions about Lucidchart? The other ones are like MindMizer. That's great. It works. It's very similar to Lucidchart. I just really love Lucidchart. It's free. MindMizer is not. Okay, I don't know what that costs, but it costs like $50 or more for that MindMizer one. Lucidchart is free. So if you want to check that out, please check it out, and it's super, super useful. Okay, I want to show you this Glogster. How many are making like glogs? Who's making glogs? Anybody making glogs out there? Awesome. Glogster is like making an interactive online poster. Common assignment, right? Give students a piece of poster board and let them go nuts. Cool. Always do that. Really cool. This is an online poster where they can create a really cool, visual poster that it can embed text, images, video. They can narrate it. You can embed audio. Super, super awesome. And I'll show you some. I'll just go I don't want to go into my account right now, but there's the whole Glogster. You just sign up for it. It does cost money. There's a free educator account, but it only gives you a few students to actually work with. And I wanted to use this a lot, and my principal was super awesome and let me buy it. I forgot what the price was. I think it was like $40 or $50, but I asked for money and they gave it to me, which was really, really great. Sure, all right. Anyway, so and it works awesome in class. Okay, let me show you these glogs. Now these are from sophomores, but visually artistic. Holy moly! Close reading of text, perfect. I had them find a Civil War newspaper article. I wanted them to analyze it. Tear apart the newspaper article. What was key about it? This is a Chicago Tribune article. This is a student who made this, and she just did a fantastic job. She found the person's picture. The article was about Jenny Wade from the Civil War, Gettysburg, very, very, very famous. She put the quotes from the article in there, and then she even did a screenshot of the article. That's the actual newspaper screenshots, all right? And she made that awesome poster based upon a close reading of a newspaper article. Isn't that just cool or what? I love it. It blew me away. And they did this. I gave them the general directions, and some of them just flew with it. Yeah.
How does Padlet compare to Glogster?
A lot. You could do a lot more. This is really like making a artistically, aesthetically pleasing thing. Padlet's is more for like basically. Padlet's idea was if you had like a sticky note board, you just want to put sticky notes on it. Bam, bam, bam. That's kind of like what a Padlet is. This is for creating a really nice, refined piece. And then you can share this, embed it, that kind of stuff. I'll show you one more. This one, I think the student kind of messed around with it afterwards because it's not formatting as nicely as it was initially. Same assignment. She embedded actually videos from YouTube that were relevant. She put in maps. She put in a little more animation. I had students do full digital stories using Glogster, where they had to embed their own voice, record their own voice, put it on the poster, put video elements on the poster. So super, super useful. I think for this one, I don't like paying for anything, but this one is really worth it. I mean, the money that this costs, what they can do with it, is just really cool. See how I used to hate? I love poster projects. What I always hate about poster projects is grading poster projects. You have this huge stack of posters in your room, and you're like, what do I do with these things? And you're just trying to like grade them and staple stuff to them. And, all right, now it's online. I've got a rubric that goes with it. I attach the online Google Doc rubric. Bam, it's good to go. Very super easy. Okay, so questions about Glogster? Make sense? Everybody's good? Awesome. Okay, cool. What else? Last last one, I guess. I think it's the last one. I guess I'll show you a dig. I don't know. I've kind of gotten away from it. Everybody use Digo to highlight text? Who's using that? I was using it. I don't use it as much as I thought I would. It's kind of like a web-based product like Adobe where you can highlight, annotate anything that's HTML. Anything that's web-based text, you can highlight it, annotate it, add sticky notes to it, and it will save it for you. So let me just go down some of my ones that I've done before. Let's go back to the Gettysburg Address. I open that up. And this is a PDF. You can do PDF annotation with it. It's a little bit cumbersome because you got to make it won't let you highlight it. It's a PDF. You got to put text boxes around it, but you could add key phrases on the side. You could add notes to it. It works better if the text is actually HTML. So where's my HTML text? There it is, Avalon Gettysburg Address. So it's from the website, Avalon. And what basically happens now is that you would have, this is like a HTML text, right? You highlight it. That's a little Digo applet that comes up. See that? They come up automatically in my browser. It's a browser extension. You add it to Chrome, Firefox, Explorer. Now that you have it in there, it always will come up. And now you can highlight it. These are all my old ones that came up. You could put pop-ups around it, and then you can share this with people. So it's kind of neat if it's HTML text. And again, if you buy into it, you can have students that can share with you and have classes. You can all add your text together. But it is a possibility. This one was a harder learning curve for students, a little more quirky. That's why I don't use it as much. Maybe I will someday. I just want to throw it out there as a possibility. But I don't really use it as much as I don't feel as comfortable saying this is awesome, like I do with Mr. Chart or Blocks, which I use extensively. Okay, so it's not a possibility. All right. Questions about that? Okay. Then I'll save some time for any kind of general things. I got about 5-10 minutes left here. What I want to do is just kind of close out. There's some opportunities here I want to show you. At the bottom here of this Google Doc, and I'll put the video on it soon, probably tomorrow. If you're all interested in Canisius College, we have a great master's program online. All we do is ed tech stuff. I got to do my little plug for Canisius. That's a video of me. If you want to watch it on YouTube, I'll explain the program. It's a great program. Again, a master's degree in probably about 16 to 18 months, and you can become a certified New York education technology specialist, which is a cool certification to have. Will open a lot of doors for you. And if you click on that website, you can also, we're doing a webinar series. I'm doing the first webinar Wednesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. If you want to know about screencasting, Rob Zagorski from Amherst canceled today. Rob and I work together at Canisius. I know Rob very well. We're really good friends. He had to cancel. He felt really, really bad about that. I was talking about it last night. But Rob and I and some others are doing webinars all in March. And if you go to the little link here, there's actually Rob's blog on the Canisius website. But Technology Tools Webinar Series, click on that. And I am doing this one on Wednesday, screencasting the flipped classroom. And then there's one on Think Infinity and New York Learns. And then Rob's doing the iPad production one at the end of the month. They are free. So if you go to my Google Doc and you click on that, it's a free webinar, 4 o'clock this month in March. So please check them out. I think they're really, really useful. So any comments or questions? Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you.